We are live. This is the market update. Ethereum is back. What should you do? Is Solana or XRP next? Did you know that Fear Greed is at 73 and ETH is still down over 20% for the year? What do you think that means for ETH? And what do you think that means for alts? Could it be alt season or could it be a 6-month alt rally? Oops. I think I told my premium group that recently. We will go over the new reports. We will go over all the crypto news. We will tell you why the Bitcoin conference will trigger an altcoin rally. In the latest report about futuristic price predictions for the rest of this cycle in the Patreon Platinum and YouTube member areas. Done last night, hot off the press, a 10-page document that I distilled down into a video for YouTube and a video and an executive summary for our Platinum group. That's for all you busy people out there who want to get the bottom line in your phone. Now, when you see that work, you will be like, oh my God. You will have an answer to, can I buy this market up 4%? And my attitude is 4% up. Who cares? Who cares? Talk to me about it being a problem buying it when it's up 40%. We will also be looking at monthly charts. So needless to say, don't go anywhere. By the way, I'm your host, Bill Noble. All right, let's welcome who's here. Bull Runner first on the stream. Let's go, Spartans. DJ Bart, let's go. Bob Marsh, a member on the stream. Sir, welcome. Indie Rock Crypto, Hal Lopez from Portugal. Donato, Search Agent. Demetrius, Alzerian, welcome. Baby Whale, James with QNT. Don't sleep on any of these American cryptos ahead of that Vance speech. Don't. Your base hurts. Let's go. A new member. Brandon is here. Hello, Bobby, Felix, Sephro, Charlie, the positive cat from the Antivirus Samurai. Kind of a good story about Janice. Don't let me forget. Cetus coming back strong from that Sui hack. Hacks make you stronger. GF, Holy Schmoly, and George, what's up? Okay, now, needless to say, this market is moving. Everybody knows it. I think everybody knows it, but no one is long. No one. That's why it trades like this. By the way, this is your Memorial Day holiday surprise. This year they had a twist. They dropped it on Memorial Day, made you think it was terrible, and then boom. Boom. Price predictions. What is the next 10x? Can you get a 10x in a big cap crypto? I wonder. You want to see some Gann math for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and what are the implications going forward? That's in the YouTube member area, and there's a different, quicker version along with the video in the Patreon Platinum area, which people are loving because you don't have to stick your credit card in 6 times per month to buy reports. So if you like one-stop shopping, we got YouTube, we got Patreon. YouTube features the live stream from Girl Bill as well as our podcast. So we got everything for you, and both of them together are still less than a lot of guys are charging. So come check that out, because you know what? Whether you get our research or someone else's research, do me a favor. Get some research. Get involved now. Seriously, now. And if you think it's urgent now, wait until you see what happens over like July 4th. Next big Gann event. Oh, my God. There was a big Gann event this weekend, 3 days ago, and we're going to talk more about that. That's what triggered the idea to do those reports. Again, please don't go anywhere. Ethereum flashes alt-season signal as ETH price eyes 4.1K, and they must watch the show. So Ethereum hasn't done anything and has been trading in a square range for some time. Square ranges in Ethereum lead to volcanic moves. One of the things about ETH that people have forgotten is how it moves when it does move, right? Like, let's see if I can just go to the quick live TA, right? Like when ETH moves, it just goes straight up. This was 2021, right? This is me and Ian Bellina at 300 ETH pounding the table for a year. And then it just goes whoop, straight up. And that even happened to a smaller degree in 2024. Now, of course, the problem with ETH is that it also goes straight down when it goes down. Now, here's a little something for you. Do you realize that if you take out the 2021 FOMO and the 2022 end of the world FTX FUD, ETH has actually been in a perfect box for 4 years. A box. Now, as you might remember, square formations are very bullish in crypto. Welcome to the Hot Mess Express and James Bond, along with Forget About It. Now, speaking of Forget About It, ETH is moving through one of these Fibonacci circles. Generally speaking, the way these things work is that when you move through one of the circles, even if it takes a little while, you eventually have a big move. In this case, it feels like the big move is higher, mainly because ETH is unwinding this vertical decline. So we have a stealth breakout on a long-term chart in ETH. So where can it go? Well, I don't know. Let's do some Bitcoin math. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is $40,000 above the 2021 high. That's pretty robust. ETH, I don't know. ETH hasn't even gotten back to where it was when FTX started. And by the way, the market's in the mood to devalue the dollar. I don't know if you saw this, right? The pound, the Great British Pound, has been rallying. Dollar falling, pound up. Wow. You know, now the pound historically, you know, frankly, is an incredible currency in terms of its history. But if you consider the actions of that sovereign, I don't know. That wouldn't be my first choice, but it's a classic contrarian rally. Why? Because the foreign exchange market cannot figure out how to devalue the dollar. It's like, okay, we did gold and we'll continue to do gold. And they're going to do platinum next because platinum is both a precious metal and an industrial metal. That's next. So, but they can't find anything. It's like, well, we don't want to do the euro. We don't want to do the yen. We're not that interested in the Aussie dollar. We're definitely not interested in the Canadian dollar. So what are we going to do? Oh, let's do sterling. Nobody believes it? Great. Let's continue to do it. And they did it, and they did it, and they did it. Let me stop talking for 5 seconds and show you. The Great British Pound. They can't get enough. They can't get enough. This has been up only since February. Now, you're probably wondering, gee, Bill, what does this have to do with crypto? Well, okay, so the Great British Pound is going up only. So where's Ethereum? Where's Solana? Where's XRP? Which haven't done anything. I just can't control myself. So now I got to whip over here to PowerPoint. You explain this to me. We're going to do this before we do the news, and it's going to help you see the news in a whole different light. Okay, so according to Milk Road, which is, you know, a generic yet useful newsletter, fear greed is at 73. So we're at, the market is at extreme greed. The market is extreme greed. Bitcoin is up 17% for the year. 17%. That's a great quarter in a Magnificent Seven stock. But if ETH was ETH was down 25% and Solana was down 7% going into today. What's wrong with this picture? Well, what's wrong with this picture is altcoins are massively undervalued. And everyone's sleeping on Web3, which I can't possibly understand. I can't possibly understand it, which is why I'm screaming into the mic. Get research, get involved, watch the stream, hit the like button. You don't have any money, you can turn on notifications and you can hit the like button. I'm trying to get the stream to 200 likes. I've never seen 200 likes. I would like to see 200 likes. If you got absolutely no money, please help us out. Look at this. A new cough, cold, and flu is back. Everything is back when the orange man wants to do his thing. Now, his big, beautiful bill is really not that beautiful, but it's amazing how they coming out of the woodwork. Everything's coming out of the woodwork, right? The conflict in Eastern Europe heats up. We got new cough, cold, and flu. Everything they try to do, they resist. Now, I don't know if that's right or not, but let me ask you this. The people who come up with these things, the people who make these decisions, who escalate things, and we have, again, pharmaceutical companies on the run with RFK, and then we have this. Do these guys have your interest at heart? Do they? No. And the beautiful thing is the crypto market is on a launch pad, giving you the opportunity to take control of your future. Your future. Bitcoin's new high may have been driven by Japan bond market crisis. Gee, you think? You got a meltdown over there. I mean, it's corrected itself because the central banks finally stepped in after zero hedge plastered the end of the world headlines everywhere. I don't think the Bank of Japan could save itself. I think the reason the market is up is because the Japanese government bond market hit, right? And then the Fed has to come in and save them somehow, right? Other central banks are going to have to save the Bank of Japan. It will be the first central bank bailout because they cannot stop the bond market wreckage over there because Japanese largest life insurers suffer staggering losses. And again, I keep repeating this, and I know it doesn't make sense, but the Japanese insurance companies and the Japanese banks are huge, huge. I'm not talking about locally huge. I'm talking about globally huge. They've been buying their bonds at the government's bonds at zero for 10 years, more than that, 20 years as their patriotic duty. Now their portfolios are being destroyed. And they're going to need bailouts. They're going to need bailouts. And that's going to be a coordinated central bank effort, which is going to mean massive printing, which is why as soon as the Bank of Japan says, we'll take care of it, I don't know if they can, but when they say they do, the market just explodes. This is you could have cough, cold, and flu era printing to solve this particular problem, right? Crypto decoupled from stocks, right? Which actually may start doing better, believe it or not. Now crypto is going to decouple from bonds and they have to print. So please get involved. Please get involved. It's not investment advice. Figure out how to get involved responsibly because this, folks, is happening. And two calls I made this year. One was to get a Bitcoin conference ticket when there was no reason to get a ticket at $77K. And two, the Bitcoin conference was going to ignite Altseason. They were going to go to the conference. They were going to declare themselves the victor. And the entire rest of this market was going to smoke higher. And good morning, Mr. Ethereum is off to the races. Bitcoin price expect to soar as global bond markets break. They must watch the show. U.S. consumer confidence goes to 98. Just keep in mind, only Wall Street hedge funds and NVIDIA holders are the ones that got smoked off the whole tariff thing. Everybody else was actually okay. And this is a function of gasoline prices, I think, even though it doesn't really make a lot of difference in your pocket. But I mean, I drove up to a pump in Texas over Memorial Day where gas is normally a lot higher over the weekend. Paid $2.50. Wow. You know what? And I was like, that'll save me, I don't know, $40 a month. But I was happy even before I said that. So Joe Public, as long as they can hold on to their job, they're okay. So why is everyone bearish equities? Why is everyone negative, right? If you give people a dollar devaluation and they feel okay and they're still employed, where's all that money going? Where's the big, beautiful bill money going? Most of the tax relief is in higher brackets, right? Where's that money going to go? If you gave $3,000 to $10,000 extra income to basically Americans who earn more than 50 grand, where's that money going to go? Here it is. So the big, beautiful bill hoses poor people because I think they're taking their health care away. It's like $800 billion or something for that program. I don't know. That's just, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't. But maybe you have a lot of these people who recently came into the country who are getting that. I don't know. Plus, you're going to be able to go to a doctor. You know, you just feed your condition. You should be able to feed your condition into a special medical AI, you know, hit the button and drive to the pharmacy and pick up. That's what they should be doing with that. But so poor people are going to get hosed, which is unfortunate. But anybody who's making over 50, right? You get $815 worth of income, $3,000 worth of extra income, $5,000 worth of extra income. Most crypto bros are in this zone between 93 and 250. Talking about giving people a lot of extra money. Not to mention the fact that they have to print an extra $2 trillion a year to pay for this, because you know they're not going to cut healthcare for poor people. It's big and it's beautiful for Bitcoin, for crypto. If they're buying sterling, where they're picking you up for Facebook posts. Ethereum is a no-brainer, right? Ethereum has no use case? Really? I think Ethereum has a use case. Does Sterling have a use case? No, not really. But, you know, you taking a vacation over there? Gonna take a vacation, do some Facebook, get picked up at the airport? No, you're not. Absolutely not. But they're desperate to find something. What can I buy because the dollar's going down? What can I buy? I mean, you know, it's become painfully obvious. And of course, our friends at Doomberg are only too happy to pick up on it. Dollar risks falling. Dollar lowest since 2023. Wall Street down on the dollar. Ken says crypto is cutting into the dollar's hegemony. Bro, crypto is a teeny tiny little market. Now, of course, Doomberg will write anything anti-American that it can get its hands on, but they have a point with this dollar down move. The dollar down move has not been big enough. And if they're buying sterling, there's nothing that they can't buy in equities. You can buy Cardano, as far as I'm concerned, if they're buying sterling. People don't get this. People absolutely don't get this. Okay, let's talk about the banana zone. So back in the 70s, this is gold from 1970 until 1980. Now, this was gradually, then suddenly, because of inflation. Now, what happened was inflation persisted for a very long time. You thought it was going to go away, and then gold went banana zone because inflation went banana zone. Now, in this case, it may not be inflation, but this may be a reflection of how the dollar trade gets done. In other words, pretend this is like 2020, and then the market kind of goes up, and then it goes down, and it's like, you know, we'll show Solana later. You know, it's not terrible, but it's not parabolic. So gold went parabolic back in 1977. Are you telling me we can't go parabolic in crypto with the news flow that we have now? People are bearish. They have left. Fear greed is at 73, right, at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. So everybody who's into Bitcoin at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas, all the maximalists, yeah, they're super bullish. But go up to my friends and go up to somebody at the Bitcoin Vegas and say, hey, what about Ethereum? Hey, do you like it? And see what they say. See what they say. And then after you get done, go to a place where you can find internet reception and hit the green button, not investment advice. Global bond markets rally as Japan looks to stabilize its debt market. You know, one note is the Fed may have to help them out. Then again, never underestimate the amount of money that the Japanese are willing to print to solve a problem. We were printing $85 billion a month with Bernanke and Janet for QE, just for laughs. Then the Japanese started printing $85 billion a month, and their economy is 1/3 the size of ours. They're like, oh, $85 billion a month? Is that the number? they'll do it. They're going to print massively, right? In other words, everyone in crypto was running around with the M2 graph. I understand, right? Global money supply is rising. But the thing is, you got to ask yourself, like, the people who are making it rise, they're making it rise in a panic, right? Chinese, major problems, flood the market. Japanese, can't have a bond market crash, flood the market, right? Dollar has to go down. Powell and Bessent, or whoever replaces Powell, will eventually have to do it. If Powell won't do it, Bessent will. Bessent will. Or we're just going to print money and just be irresponsible on the fiscal side. Either way. Either way, they're putting a huge amount of money in circulation, right? I mean, if they spend $2 trillion more than they take in, they're going to borrow $2 trillion and put it into the system. Money is flying everywhere. Okay, in the classic example of do governments have your interest at heart, Orange Man walks in, says, I'm going to get a deal done for the war in Eastern Europe. And they go, you know what? We would rather fight instead. So now we're lifting the cover off the button and we're letting it escalate. Governments, communists, do they have your interest at heart? No. No. Right? Antivirus, 5 million market cap. Private eSIM cards, right? Private eSIM cards, private email, private gift cards, mixers, so that everybody doesn't see what kind of crypto you have. 4 million market cap with this going on. Do they have your interest at heart? And what can you do about it? Not to mention the fact that everybody's all about, wow, we're going to have robots. We're going to have sentient artificial intelligence programs that are going to try to undelete themselves and blah, 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 blah. Yet nobody realizes what happens when Talking McAfee starts walking around. Not only talking, but starts walking around. Amazing. 300K Bitcoin lottery grows bigger as traders chase uptide. Time to step back. No. I have a massive amount of respect for Omar. Huge. This guy was like working really hard. He's like doing journalism. And he's like, hey, you know, I want to get my CMT license. Guy's working hard, right? But what's the story in the journalism world? It's overdone. It's overheated. It's too speculative. Big bets on the upside. Wow. Do you think anybody knows what's good? You think some smart money knows what they could potentially announce at the Bitcoin conference? Can you imagine? You imagine if they announce a strategic reserve that includes more than Bitcoin? Or the desire to do a strategic reserve that includes more than Bitcoin? You remember that? Back from January, it's like, oh yeah, my currency is going to be in the strategic reserve. Let's go. No one talking about it. Why do you have 2 Trump kids and Vance at the Bitcoin conference? Why? Solana Labubu? Meme coin? 49 million market cap. Viral toy sales. Welcome to Solana summer. Moonpig, Labubu. I don't know, man. I'm an antivirus guy, but you know what? We'll start off with toys and pigs. I'm cool with that. I'm cool. Open the casino. Let kids win. Let kids win. You know, saw Wendy O down in Vegas at the conference on Twitter, you know, doing some slot machines. What are kids going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to do meme coins. Plus Solana at 171 or whatever it is, or ETH at 2,500 is a joke. It's a joke. It's like they're giving you, it's almost like going to Vegas and saying, well, if you bet $20, if you get $20 worth of chips, we'll give you an extra $10 or $5. For every dollar you put in, we'll give you $1. That's what it's like. It's that cheap. Quantum computing could break Bitcoin encryption. Dun, 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 dun. You know, as long as we have bad news, it's going up. It's going up. Bad news? Oh, excellent. You know, what do the American football players do? The running backs, the guys who run when they want the ball more so they can, you know, because they're going to score. And they go like this. Feed me. Feed me. Feed me the negative news. Feed me. Feed me. Wall Street giant Cantor debuts Bitcoin lending with first tranches to Falcon X and Maple. Wait a second. Do you mean someone in Legacy is using DeFi? Huh. Cantor Fitzgerald, huge bond brokerage company, huge. I mean, they are how government bonds, I mean, in the day, and I'm assuming it's that way now, they are the mechanism by which government bonds change hands between broker dealers. And by the way, in case you think that's a small market, remember when Uncle Sugar does trillions upon trillions in debt, that's being processed by primary dealers or these big banks, and they're using Cantor Fitzgerald. All of a sudden, they're buying Bitcoin and they're doing DeFi. And remember, Howard Lutnick, as clumsy as he is on TV, he has a front row seat. He knows how they're making the sausage, and all he can do is buy Bitcoin and get in DeFi. Follow the smart money, even if the smart money doesn't sound good on TV. Hey, Ethereum's up 4%. You know what? I got an idea. Why don't we put a 0? I already gave you the Ethereum chart. This thing in the YouTube member area, this thing, this price prediction. But, you know, everyone's like, well, where's it going to be at the end of the cycle? I don't think there is an end to the cycle, but there's going to be a big GAN disruption. You have a Saturn move 3 days ago. Huge implications for technology, fast-moving networks like layer ones. Huge. Huge GAN analysis. It goes into a GAN model. And I just say, okay, give it to me, baby. Give it to me. GAN model pushes out 10 written pages. Took me a full business day to process it into a 15-minute video. And there's another big GAN event coming up over the summer. So Girl Bill, a.k.a. Toby, told you it was going to be meme coin layer one summer. And the GAN model spit out something even more radical. Get out there, people. I'm telling you. I'm absolutely telling you. Can Bitcoin conference curse end at this week's event? So there is a problem. There is a conference curse. So when there are conferences, the market turns around and gets hammered. It was the same way with Consensus. I think Consensus was in April of 2022. That was pre-FTX, as I remember, right? Bitcoin Nashville, big tops. Bitcoin Miami was a big top right before or right after. Back in 2020 when Novogratz came out and said, if you're not long, you're short. Long term, he was right. These conferences provide tops. Now, I have a different theory. These conferences provide inflection points. What's the inflection point? Altcoins up, way up. Everyone's looking for a crash. Everyone's looking for a down move. Everybody's looking for a repeat of history. And Girl Bill has clearly told the YouTube members for a year, don't expect anything like what you've seen before in 2025. As clear as a bell. Which is why, one of the reasons why I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know, Girl Bill sells something and I go to the GAN model and then I look at my charts and I'm like, oh my God. How many people are saying this? Nobody. Nobody. Conference sparked 30% crash last year. Can bulls escape? Note, feed me that negative news, baby. Feed it to me. SharpLink Gaming up 400% as Consensus is in. Don't look now, but they're trying to do cool things at Ethereum. I know. They got a long way to go. I get it. But remember, equities don't trade based on what's happening now. They trade on a story and what's going to be happening in 6 months. When you look at this Ethereum ETF, you know, somebody in, you know, Legacy goes, oh, look, the gaming guys are, you know, ETH guys are doing stuff. Okay. Mike and Paal. Bill, what about investment rotation starting from Bitcoin, ETH, and SOL would be a good idea? Dude, it is the rotation trade. Bitcoin prints 120 or 140. You rotate over to alts. And as far as I'm concerned, you can rotate over to alts right now. You're going to have altcoin summer for sure. I don't want to say for sure not investment advice. Dude, like I said, everybody at Bitcoin in love with their Bitcoin, and that's fine, right? Because Bitcoin is going higher as a dollar devaluation, but there's going to be ETH, there's going to be Solana, and I haven't even gotten to the AI rant. You do not want these characters from Web 2 running AI. They have got the pedal to the metal on AI, and we are sleeping on the investment strategy of blockchain and AI together. Everyone's betting on Web 2. I am betting on Ben Goertzel, if that's correct pronunciation, from Artificial Superintelligence Token. Now, I don't know if this is correct or not. Orange Man Media wants to buy $2 billion for a Bitcoin treasury strategy. There isn't going to be any DeFi AI coins in the future. It's just going to be that's going to be assumed that anybody in DeFi has AI. There isn't going to be any such thing as a Bitcoin treasury company because they're all going to have to do it. I don't know if this is correct or not, but it's a race to get it before it gets absurd. And the stablecoin chase is on, right? This is the most bullish thing in crypto because, again, they must watch the show. We are going to have a mergers and acquisition craze. Now, I thought it was going to be in miners, and now it's going to be in stablecoins. Like when everyone's hot to trot for stablecoins, even though USDC is effectively a CBDC, let's forget that for just 1 second. Everyone is so hot to trot. I mean, Circle was initially valued around $5 billion. Ripple said, we'll give you $6 billion for the company. They're like, no. Coinbase is now a bidder for Circle. Rumor has it that could be up to $11 billion for Circle. And you know what Circle's going to do? They're going to do exactly what they should do. They're going to go public. They're like, yeah, we're going to file for an IPO. You guys give me $25 billion. That's what's going to happen, right? Because they want in. And when stable coins proliferate, it's going to go into DeFi. Banks are going to connect to DeFi to put your stable coins in DeFi, even though I know that's distasteful. And then the stable coins are going to wind up in Bitcoin or whatever else is flying around. You have effectively the banks on-ramping their own end with a stablecoin panic. Now, when they start a mergers and acquisition wave, it doesn't happen with one company in legacy, right? When they take over one company, everyone sits around at all the other companies and go, okay, well, who can we acquire? Or investment banking analysts start asking management, so who are you going to acquire? What's your strategy? Do you have a strategy? This is going to happen. This is when you could start with stablecoin companies. You know, somebody could take over USDC. You know, we've published extensively in the Patreon Platinum area about, you know, basically our Ripple strategy and our XRP strategy. I can't believe you'd missed that. This is going to be a wave. And you know what? MicroStrategy could either take over companies or, you ready for this? MicroStrategy could be a takeover target. Somebody's going to say, well, we could never, I mean, Berkshire Hathaway, right? This is an example. They're going to say, well, you know what? We could never buy the amount of Bitcoin that we need to. We're sitting on cash. We think we're getting a yield. We're not because inflation eats it all. So what are we going to do? Well, let's just call up Michael Saylor and say, Mike, you can continue to run the company, you know, but we want to buy your company. We'll write you a check. Now, of course, he won't sell, but Bitcoin miners might. Somebody might make a bid for MicroStrategy, and then every other crypto company goes up 50% in one day. The market is too cheap. It's too cheap. Bitcoin faces risk of a pullback. Momentum indicators diverge. Skiers falling down. Feed me, baby. 3.3 billion in crypto tokens set to unlock in June. Okay, so what I don't want to get insane, but beware of token unlocks. Fast token, Aptos, Layer 0, ZK String, Sync, Arbitrum. And you know what? A lot of these tokens, right? Some of those tokens are in the report for the Platinum Group. So if you get dips on unlocks or if they've underperformed because of the unlock, once the unlock is over, I've seen this. Something doesn't perform well. They do the unlock, the market eats it, and it goes up. Sometimes the coin can dump. All I know is Like, whatever negative event happens on unlocks, if it's a good token, take it from them. Everyone's always talking about, oh, we're doing a Solana unlock. Okay. They did a Solana unlock and it hasn't moved at all. At all. Just in case you're having trouble understanding what's going on in artificial intelligence, they're running out of human data. They're running out. I don't really understand why YouTube and Twitter aren't paying us more aggressively. Don't worry, they will be. They're going to have to start programming. They're going to have to start feeding the machine. I don't know what. Do you want Web 2 feeding the machine? Whatever. They're running out of data. It's got to be done in a decentralized world, people. Fetch, artificial superintelligence token. Where do you look at the charts? It's like this is not happening. This is happening. It's happening. All these guys are like, hey, beware of AI safety. Hey, these guys are going too fast. Blah, 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 blah. You know, everyone's got their Sarah Connor meme out, like from the Terminator movie. Like, you know, Sarah Connor watching everybody use AI all day, smoking a cigarette from the stress. You have no idea what happens if AI agents discover. It only takes one trade. It takes one trade, one meme coin, one DeFi project, one. You know, Fartcoin, GOAT, Bonk, Whiff. Look at all of these cycles. They started with one or two coins. You get some agent using DeFi, or you get some big entity like Cantor using an agent. I don't know why people think this can't happen. It can, which is perfect because, you know, I like to talk an hour a day and there's just so much to talk about. Musk confirms X money beta testing. So if you don't want to buy Circle, make your own coin. I don't know if this is blockchain based or whether this is just another Elon kind of fantasy. Everyone's going to make their own money. Elon can make his own money, and then all of Web 2 is going to panic and start buying stable coins. Seriously. Absolute panic. And it could start buying miners too. It's like, okay, well, you know, we're going to build our whatever we're going to build. Let's have everybody doing Bitcoin. Let's just buy a miner and start sucking up the crypto. Whoever gets left out of the stablecoin thing is just going to go to the next thing. Elon's making his own money. Great. It's all going to Bitcoin. All going to altcoins. They're going to put money in people's pockets. You know what they're going to do with it. You know what they're going to do with it, right? Like, think of it this way. If you went to Vegas and someone handed you $100, free, here you go. Here's $100. What would you do with it? Could you buy a ticket to the show for $100? Maybe you could take your friends to a nice buffet, or you're going to take your free money and go down to the casino, right? Especially if someone handed you, actually, the better example is, say somebody handed you $100 in betting chips. What would you do? Would you go cash them out, or would you go play? Stable coins, same thing. Elon money, same thing, potentially, especially if it's on blockchain rails. Metaplanet, Bitcoin premium. So Metaplanet stock is now trading at a premium to what the Bitcoin in the company treasury is worth. Why? Because you can't go out and buy the amount of Bitcoin that these guys have without creating a market disruption. Hence, the value of the company starts rising. They have like a mode. They're like, could you buy as much Bitcoin as us? Because we've been buying it for years. All these hedge funds, short MicroStrategy. Don't get me started. Easing momentum. Watch out. It's going lower. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Meanwhile, you should be buying, you know, none of this is about the market going up. And of course, you know, what it was like inside the Orange Man dinner. So they bought the meme coin. They went to the dinner. The Orange Man spoke for an hour. They got to take all kinds of pictures at the White House. And you know what? For whatever reason, some people were disappointed. Some people were disappointed that they got to hang out with the president of the United States for owning a meme coin. They criticized the meme coin for lack of utility, and then they all got to go to a dinner to see the Orange Man. I mean, if the Orange Man goes down in history and winds up on Mount Rushmore, and I'm not saying that's a guarantee, your meme coin dinner will have paid off. People who bought, do you realize you could have had a dinner with the Orange Man in Mar-a-Lago if you had bought $4,000 worth of the NFTs back in 2019? That trade worked out pretty good, huh? You think they don't want your crypto? Bad guys know how valuable crypto is. They're like going into people's houses. Now, this is also a convenient, splashy headline because they'll do anything to stop it. Anything. Anything. They can't stop it. You know, like whatever Alex calls it, the pro-human agenda, sort of. The pro-human agenda. My version of that is crypto. They will do anything to stop it, and they can't. They can't. They're not going to be able to stop it. Okay? Web2 company panicking on chips, right, for their Pixel 10 phone. Panicking on chips. They absolutely got to have it. MicroStrategy. Gee, wasn't it nice of them to absolutely, completely gap down, dump this thing last week? This is now 47% away from its premium zone, and people are acting like it can't rally. Guess what? It can. Look at this. Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about what bull markets can do to you. I mean, Marathon Digital, possibly not the fundamentally greatest miner out there, goes straight up, double wick, just everyone sell. Then something happens on Friday, drop the mark, gap down and drop it right into the LuxAlgo support. It's like, boom, 11% the other way. That's what bull markets do. They just force you out. They destroy you, and then boom, it goes the other way. It's exactly what's happening across the board in crypto. Now, monthly charts, getting close to the end of the month. So this is Aave. Aave monthly. Almost got to a 13 bottom. Okay. And, you know, they're not perfect, but this stuff is everywhere in crypto. Everywhere. We could do charts for an hour, and I have no problem doing that. Cup and handle everywhere. As you're breaking through a fib circle line, next fib circle is at like 800. That's the premium zone, I think, in Aave. 800. It's currently trading at 275, and no one even cares. No one cares. You're like, don't talk to me about that. Like, I definitely want to talk to you about this. Look at Solana. So, you know, Solana is still afraid of 180. Let me ask you something. It's a very simple question. What happens when Solana is no longer afraid of 180? Or if you finally get the monthly close through that level? They've tried it like, I don't know, they've tried it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get it through this level and keep it above this level. Okay, Diego is saying, what do you think of the graph long term? Dude, graph is an AI-based play. Like the data, you know how they're running out of data? Like first they're running out of data, then they're running out of data centers, or they're running out of data centers, and they're running out of data, then they're going to run out of data storage. I mean, dude, they absolutely have to get here. Now, how long is the announcement going to take? 13 bottom in the graph on a monthly basis. Right? It's just like the 13 bottom on the monthly chart of Ethereum that it was screaming about for a month. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. 13 bottom goes down, comes back, and then boom, up 80%. And guess what? This candle doesn't even really register. I mean, this candle, okay, it's kind of big, but there's a big one, right? Here's 7 big ones, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 big green candles. Woof. Okay, 3,800. That's where ETH was before FTX started. I have no idea why anybody's afraid to buy ETH at 2,600. I have no idea. I have no idea what it's even doing down here. But, you know, I'm a boomer and I'm crazy, right? Okay, member requests, virtual, Jupiter, and Super. Okay, so MicroStrategy we did. Let's try doing MicroStrategy over here on DeMark. Okay, so first thing you want to notice in MicroStrategy is you're on a 12 on a monthly, which means they haven't done the blow off top yet. Blow off top could be this month or next month. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how people are sleeping on that. Now, you did get a 13 top on a daily chart. You did get the correction. And then you see this 4 signal. That means 5 wave incoming. That means once MicroStrategy stops going down, it's going to 500 minimum, in my opinion. Jupiter. You know, the Solana 7 is a very popular report in the Patreon store. That's also in the YouTube member area, by the way. The Solana 7. Might want to take a look at that. Okay, so Jupiter being held back at 63 cents. They have a 13 top here on the daily chart. Will that matter? My question is, what happens if Jupiter gets above 70 cents? That's my question. In other words, we've been talking about this all month long. What happens when everyone's afraid of resistance and it won't go through and then it does? Boom. Bob noticing that you can get a medical diagnosis with AI. Dude. AI for poor people. Walk in, get scanned, stick your lab results into a chatbot. Medicine pops out in a vending machine on the way out. Not an excuse to hurt poor people, but there is going to be a solution like that for basic family care now. Meanwhile, back at the Jupiter ranch, gee, the bottom of the range in Jupiter was 70 cents. And then what did they have to do? Well, I don't know. They had to take it down here for 16 weeks. Let's flush everybody out for 16 weeks below the perceived bottom end of the range. And then what happens when they do a reclaim above 71 cents? So where is Jupiter going now? I don't know. It's got to press 70 cents. The question is, what happens if Jupiter takes out 70 cents? And what's the world going to look like if that happens? And the fantastic news is I have an answer to that in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana price prediction. So waiting to take out 70 cents. Super. Super on Coinbase. Everyone's selling every rally. See this 0 down here? So here's what you got. You got a 13 bottom, right? And then you get this blow off bottom where they just do this gut-wrenching grind down to the selling climax zone. So it's nice. DeMark gives you a bottom signal, and then it gives you a level where they might take to the selling climax. Kind of like the discount zone, but more flexible. So what did they do here? Well, they gave you a bottom, and then, I don't know, somebody sold every rally. And this 5 and 0, this means it's a 5-wave bottom, and the 0 means the down move is over, and they're still hitting it. They're still hitting it. I don't know, man. I mean, it's not the most beautiful looking thing, but if you believe in the fundamentals of this, and the whole market is like this, so I can't take it. We don't want this. This is dead. Virtual. Okay, so I'm doing a lot of this on DeMark today. So virtual gives you the top signal, goes down for 4 days, starts grinding back towards 257. So a top wasn't a top. Just like MicroStrategy. You got a top? Okay. 4-day break. Take a vacation. Go to the beach. Get a hotel room. Come back. Okay, let's get back to business. Like, no sign. I mean, this is a little stretched out, but there's no sign of a DeMark top on a 4-hour chart, and they're going to press through this 250 resistance. I don't even think it's there anymore. And the thing about virtuals is, like, no one's doing the AI trade. They're doing virtuals because virtuals is moving. But what about the rest of it? What about the rest of it? Like, look at this. Look at the cup and handle in PAAL, the AI marketplace. It's up 1% today. It's not doing anything. Nothing. Right? Fetch is only up 2%, and every time it goes up, they sell it. Now, I know that doesn't look good. It's not a good look, but you got to remember, you know, ASI or Fetch is still sitting on top of this giant rounding bottom, right? It goes up, they sell. They're afraid, they sell. They sell, they sell, they sell. And what happens when they're all done selling and it didn't go down? Market traded terrible at the end of last week. Ethereum and Solana never went down. They never went down, right? Mr. Q says, I need to stake my virtual. I'm missing out on airdrops. Okay. Bob Marsh says, do not fall for AI. It will lead many to damnation. Okay. This is a great point. This is a great point. You know, folks, one of the things that, and again, I wish, we all wish, at this side theater at Consensus, where we listened to Ben Goertzel make the case for decentralized AI and talked about all the things that what was AGIX, which is now, you know, the super intelligence token, all the things that he wanted to do with AI to give the common man or the small guy a chance to invest in the inevitable. It's going to get big. It's going to be huge. And in many cases, it could wind up being scary. It's going to create huge prosperity. I mean, I built the GAN model with it. But if you don't get involved, if you don't get involved on the positive side, you're going to regret that, because the positive side may be the only way to protect yourself from the negative side. And this includes Bitcoin. This includes any form of electronic money. Machines are not going to use fiat, right? So before Skynet shows up, and Skynet will show up because I think they've already got it, they just don't have the hardware. They've definitely got Skynet. I saw Sam Altman on a video come out and say, yeah, dude, if you're doing an AI startup, don't bother. ChatGPT 5 is going to come out. It's going to do everything. You got to invest in the prosperity trade. The prosperity trade. Girl Bill did a thumbnail. Help me with a thumbnail. It was like, you know, I think it's here. Yeah, it's here. Here it is. The prosperity code. Let me tell you something. Toby, a.k.a. Girl Bill, has so many talents. Books, paintings. I was like, hey, here's 12 thumbnails. Can you figure out what little catchy thing to write on it? It takes me an hour. She did 12 in an hour, by the way. The prosperity code. So what's the prosperity code? Well, could be Moonpig. Eagle King's a big fan. Dude, if this turns out to be the next peanut, I don't know. Could be Crazy Banana Pants. Like, most of this stuff, right now, it's like, meh. You know? At 50 million market cap, I don't really like it. But at $1 billion, it'll be much more attractive. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you this. I don't own it. I have my Solana meme coin, cheering for Ski Mask Dog for another group. Oh, Crypto Tilly wants to look at GME. You know, that's a very good thing to look at. Because, you know, I watched a video by this guy with the mustache and the beard. So always, you know, he's got his research. He's always pointing to the back of it. You know, they won't let him keep his videos up very long because he's always getting after BlackRock and all these, you know, not so nice places. Look at this. What do we got here in GameStop? Looks like we got a breakout. It's like textbook, right? break out from the apex of a triangle. I mean, break out from a triangle at the apex. Whoop. Guess what? Every stock, every company is owned by every other company, right? S&P 500 is owned by BlackRock, and then you find out who runs BlackRock, and it's all just basically one big game with mega corporation at the top of it. Who is outside mega corporation? GameStop. And they're buying Bitcoin. I'm telling you, people, I swear to God, you go walk down the street one day and GameStop is all in orange and it becomes like a Charles Schwab office for Bitcoin, and you can pick up some video games and some Bitcoin merch. Nice purse, pair of Crocs, you know, athletic wear for your woman at GameStop. Dude, it's the only thing that's not owned by, you know, RoboCorp. Whoop. You got any idea what happens if they get a squeeze going in this thing? Somebody out there is short this. I know I've talked about this before, right? Now it's at its premium zone, so I don't know if that puts the brakes on it, but folks, speculative fever is out there. A lot of people think ETH can't be involved in speculative fever. It kind of can. It kind of can, right? SPX 6900. Kind of amazing. If I'm not mistaken, this is ETH based, or was, before it hit the centralized exchanges. Everything looks the same. Every single coin looks like this. Every single one. You know, and I know, especially when it comes to SPX 6900, because I know they have a lot of like creative imagery with that coin. It's like a gigantic rounding bottom that they're like pressing through the top on, depending on how you draw these things, right? And again, think about how bull markets work, right? Breakout, all the bag holders sell. You do some BTFD, then bag holders sell again. Like, oh, holiday weekend, I'm out, I'm done. They got you yesterday, right? They got you. Oh, it's going down. It's terrible. Monday morning, Japanese bond market. Got to get out. Okay. Boom. If they sell and it doesn't go down, it's going up. If there's bad news and it doesn't go down, what's it going to do? I mean, it's everywhere. You know, this is the one chart market update. I haven't even done PowerPoint yet. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin to the moon. Altcoins recover. Altcoins go back down. Bitcoin goes up. Bitcoin dominance going back down to 62. It's going right back down where it came from. Because again, ETH, Solana, you know, like you said, you're buying a pound, do a perplexity search. Tell me everything that's going on in England that's weird. Or tell me everything that's going on in England that looks like 1984, the novel. Boom. Perplexity will just lay that out for you. Then look at the sterling chart and be like, huh, wow, they're buying this? Whew. They're not just buying it. They're buying it with a vengeance. I mean, look at this. Look at this green candle. I mean, this is legacy. This is legacy acting like altcoins. Like, oh, my God, give me that pound. Give it to me, baby. Meanwhile, he's doing nothing. They're all crazy. Or I'm crazy. I'm completely willing to be crazy. Girl Bill says she's crazy. Girl Bill hasn't been wrong about anything ever for $49 a month. You really should check it out. We actually got her on the mic, by the way. We're doing like a BitBoy TJ thing. We had an air conditioning issue here at the facility. We got her at the microphone, me sitting on the stool, producing a show. It's going to be unstoppable. She's going to be bigger than me, way bigger than me. Especially if we can figure out, like me, this is all of me that you need to see, really. It's not true with Girl Bill at all. We get her standing up behind a big screen, that's going to get a lot of people's attention. Trust me. Get in now. Long-term treasury yields near levels last seen in 2007. So mortgage rates, long-term interest rates, government bonds. Now, how did they vent the pressure in the system back in 2007? Well, they wrecked equities. They wrecked everything. But crypto wasn't around then. Crypto was invented after that. So you have a 40% drop, and then you can have a 40% whoop the other way. That's just Bitcoin. Never mind the rest of it. Consumer confidence on Tuesday. Fed meeting minutes on Wednesday. Going to find out if there's anybody inside the Federal Reserve who wants to cut rates. NVIDIA earnings on May 26th. What happens if that's not terrible? What happens if that brings attention back to AI? Fear greed at 73. ETH down 20% for the year. ETH is down 20% for the year. Go to the Bitcoin conference, walk around, look at what's going on, it's got to be the biggest party in the history of crypto. It's got to be. Look around and say, wow, ETH's down 20% for the year. For the year. Antivirus hanging tough at the 50% retracement level. An important word about this. So I had the idea, and so did Janice and other guys, McAfee's widow. Let's get her on stage. Let's see if somebody can put her on stage the last minute for Bitcoin Vegas. And they were like, nah, too edgy. Janet, I've interviewed Janice. Janice is not edgy. I mean, she is compared to JD Vance, right? And the Trump kids, but too controversial. Your freedom is too controversial for the Bitcoin conference. Now, that makes antivirus at 4 million, in my opinion, a joke. Or you just say to yourself, wow, the Bitcoin conference and human freedom, they're not doing it anymore. They're taking it to kind of a different mass production level. Okay, great. I mean, whatever makes it go up, that's fine. But there's a whole other level of crypto that has not even been, some of it hasn't been traded, and some of it hasn't even been acknowledged. And go check with how Facebook's going. Facebook posts are going over there in England on that subject. You say the wrong thing, and it's true even over here. Saturn moving into Aries. Big planets are changing position in the sky at a rapid rate this year. Matter of fact, it's the biggest year for this type of stuff in a very long time. Very long time. This stuff has huge implications. Huge. Last time we saw Saturn in Aries, giving you a little taste of that premium report that you can FOMO into as soon as possible, as far as I'm concerned. The last time Saturn was in Aries, or Saturn changed position in the sky like this, was 1996. And I'm like, do we know anybody who was around in markets in 1996? I do. 800 tech companies went public in 1996. At the end of 1996, the FOMO was so extreme that the Fed chairman, Alan Greenspan, are you ready? Came out and said the equity market was engaging in irrational exuberance. This is a legendary Fed speech. We named my study group in business school 5 years later. We named it irrational exuberance because that was just, I don't know, the most famous phrase in markets ever up until that time. 1997, the small little book company Amazon went public. Then in 1999, I don't know, drcoop.com, pets.com, dog food on the internet. Oh, yeah. Wall Street was like, yeah, let's IPO all this stuff. Saturn builds long-term structure. Aries initiates radical new beginnings. Saturn in Aries, or Saturn in this position in the sky, built the foundational pipes for the internet and .com revolution. Now in 2025, 2027, it is expected to do the same for crypto, AI, and decentralized finance. I don't know if it's there, but check the timestamp on when that report came out. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Can't believe what this implies for price predictions. And there's another event with another huge market planet coming up in June, which affects another big crypto, but I'm going to have to let you look at the report. And just in case you think I forgot XRP, don't forget 2025 is the 7-year anniversary of XRP hitting its previous high at $3.40 and something like that. And the Gann model says XRP isn't just catching up. It's completing a karmic cycle. 2025, 2027 isn't about reclaiming $3.40. It's about launching from it. That came out of a model. The end. The end. Okay? If you don't have research, get some research. Okay? Mr. Q is digging Girl Bill. Dude, what is going to happen with Girl Bill? Seriously, folks, there may be, right now it's like 80% Bill or 70% Bill, 30% Girl Bill. That's going to flip, and all these other influencers like, oh, I'm going to be at such and such booth at the conference. And, oh, look at me gambling. Girl Bill's going to storm on the stage and be like, hey, how do you like my Marilyn Monroe outfit? By the way, let me give you 4 sector picks right now while I'm looking at the screen. Here's what you should do with yourself for the long-term cycle. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to our research. Emphasis on research. You have no idea what's about to happen here. None. I know you do. You're here. And of course, I appreciate that. And I want to say to all of our members in Patreon, the Platts, right? The Antivirus Samurai, the Spartans from Patreon, the original guy who kept this channel going. I appreciate your business. Now, I got to go eat some protein. ETH, Solana, Bitcoin, the pound. You know what to do. The conference curse isn't a curse. It's the start of alt season. Even if it starts slowly, it's starting. We'll see you tomorrow.